welcome to a new episode of Too Much with Shey
and Becca. Hey, y'all. I just want to say welcome to all the new subscribers, to the recurring people. We love y'all down. Thank y'all for tuning into us and for watching all the different videos we've been throwing at y'all.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for your support. I feel like now, because we are doing interviews, if you haven't watched those, make sure you do. Every time we do have a live episode, and when I mean live is like we're talking about current events, it feels like it's been forever. Okay, we love, if you're new here, we always start off our episodes with weekly rundowns, and I love that part because we just talk about our lives, our week, how it's going. So I feel like we haven't done that in a while. So let's get to it. So this week, I feel like it's the start of September and a lot of kids have gone back to school. I was telling Becca, I feel weird calling her Becca because in real life, I don't call her Becca. I call her Rebecca. But during the week, I was telling Rebecca how my niece, my youngest niece, she just about to turn 2 in late October. She just started, I don't think you could call it school, but it was pre-K. And it was like, she's not my daughter, but the emotions you feel is so like, oh my God, my baby is growing up. She was born 4 pounds. So the fact that now she's like a mini human and like she's about to go to school is super, super exciting. What was your favorite thing like when you were growing up about back to school?
Honestly, it was like, for me, I just wanted to see who was going to be in my lunch. I know this sounds so big bag. That sounds so big bag, but like, especially like the way my school was set up, like everybody had different lunch times. So it was like interesting. Like you texted your friends like, okay, like what lunch do you have? But it's like, who else? Like, is my crush going to be in the same lunch as me? Like, you know.
Yeah, but are we talking middle school or high school?
Oh, girl. We had, middle school. I think middle school was like all the certain grades had lunch at this time. And then like high school, I'm talking about high school, but like in terms of like middle school, elementary school, I used to, cause we didn't have uniforms. So I used to be ready to stunt on people. I was ready to see the first day of school fits.
Yeah. For me, I remember I was always in the house all the time, 24/7. That's why at this big age, I love being home. But I was just so excited to get to be around people because I was always home alone all the time. And so, as you know, we are talkers. So it was like, baby, I am ready to rumble. I'm ready to get back active and talking, meeting with people. And also back to school shopping. For me, it was traumatic because we was broke and we was like buying the bottom of the barrel stuff.
Right.
But when I could afford my first Jan Sport book bag and 5-star notebooks, oh baby, I swore up and down, I made it. Okay, I'm like, do kids nowadays know the importance of like Jan Sport book bags and 5-star notebooks? Was that a thing for you?
I ain't never heard of a Jam Sport book bag.
What? Comment down below if you a 90s baby. You gotta know the crave of Jan Sport.
I haven't worn a backpack since I was in elementary school.
So you were the purse girl?
Girl, I was a purse girl.
Girl, you was not there for the education. If you put up to your school with a purse, you were there for the looks, not for education.
It was a big purse because I don't know. I never liked wearing a book bag because like I was already always plus size. So like to me, I just felt like I gave hunchback. And so I didn't like how it looked. So I remember my mom had this one bag and it was like a black one. It was like kind of raggedy, but at the time I thought it was cute. I was like, Mom, can I use this for my book bag? Please, this, that, and third. Girl, I used to put that thing over my shoulder. The thing used to be heavy. Like people used to carry it and they'd be like, Dad, Rebecca, like you carrying rocks. I don't care. No.
Okay, well, I very much did have a book bag, but I understand. I feel like as I got older, it was like a purse vibe, but I still used.
To this day, I wear a big purse. I don't care.
I had a cute little book bag for college. The other thing I want to say is I do want to mention that today is the 24th anniversary of 9/11. And if you are from America, people are always like, especially in school, 9/11, like they pay tribute and do all the things. Rebecca's looking at me like, why would you mention that? But I have to. It's September 11th.
I just didn't expect the acknowledgement, but go ahead, go off.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, growing up for me, like because I was born in Puerto Rico, I never really like understood, how big of a thing it was. So, once you start the school system here, like it was like moments of silence, like the TVs, all the things. And it was like everyone would recollect like their memories of 9/11, where they were. And for me, I was just always like, I don't really know, because I was not really in America. So it's always like
Also,
it's a big thing, but like I
you were
don't have
born
any
in
memory.
you were born in 1997, and this happened in 2001. So I don't think you would remember much.
Some people do. Like if they had family or whatever, like it's something that they were raised on. But anyways, that's that. The other thing I want to talk about is I had a very sad situation happen with my Poland Spring water bottle. You
Oh,
guys know I love Poland Spring down, but I'm tasting the microplastics. I am, and it is so sad. I don't know if it's because again I live in an attic. Oh my god, are you guys excited? I am in my office today. But I think it's because it has been so hot that like the plastic is melting, and so now I taste it. But you live in a AC filled environment, so you're not tasting it. It was very heartbreaking. But yeah, I'm tasting the microplastics. Comment down below. Maybe it's just the pack I got is extra plasticky.
but the thing is, where we keep the water in my house, it's in
Uh-huh.
the sunroom, so it don't never get AC. I don't taste it.
I don't know. Well, I'm happy for you. Maybe it was just a this pack situation, because yeah, I know I ride from my
Wait, what
friend.
does it taste like to you? Like,
Like dead plastic. I was so upset because it's like it's certain things I don't care if I know it's bad for me. Like my silk creamer, I am going to ride or die for the silk creamer. And this plastic water bottles, I'm gonna ride for it
what does
with
it
or
say about silk creamer? I'm lost.
well, because there's like it's not organic and healthy. You know what I mean? Like, it has like some ingredients that are not good for you, but it's okay, whatever. The last point that I want to make is, we both went to Montclair. There's some very nice houses in Montclair State.
Oh, girl.
And so I was like riding down this one street and I'm like, how are these people affording these houses? Because if you really get down to it, it's like a 9 to 5 is not paying for these houses. So do you ever wonder when you're riding through these bougie towns, like, can you please put me onto your employment so I too can afford this
Oh,
house?
I love like those series sometimes that pop up on my TikTok where like a guy will randomly stop people in the street, like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" And they're like, "Oh, I do
Yes.
this." And he's like, "Can I see what your house looks like?" And then they showing their house. Mind you, this is New York City.
Mm-hmm.
People showing I was like, I didn't know houses in New York could look like this. Mind you,
Girl.
they be houses and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is nice.
I'm like, girl, I'm barely trying to afford my little rent month to month. Like, I am just in awe. And when I love just house hunting, even though I know I can't afford not even a bedroom or the front door, I
Yeah.
just love driving through. And it's like, wow, can I one day afford this? Because the houses be out of this world.
And you know, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. I don't think I ever told you this, but like, that's one of my favorite kind of pastimes. Like, when I'm driving through people's towns and like, I'm just looking at houses. Cause like, I love HGTV. Like, if you watched it, you know what I'm talking about. I love Loving It or Listed. I love there's a show like people who win lotteries. And so they
Yeah.
go house hunting and stuff. Some of them people are crazy talking about, oh, I won the lottery. I want to fix her up. Or are you dumb? I want a house that's already done. But
Please. Also, I'm very indecisive. So building a house from scratch, unfortunately, is not for me. And I know that I can make like switch stuff up, but I'm not starting from scratch. Like, which doorknob do I want? Baby, my house will never be finished. But anyways, that was my week.
I think I would love like to build a house from the ground up because I know like there's certain things in my mind that I know I want. Like I want my house surrounded by concrete. How many houses do you find?
By concrete?
Yeah,
Why?
concrete. I don't like bugs.
Girl, that was my week. How was yours? I'm not even gonna get into that.
But what's it called? I woke up this morning and I was just like, I don't know if you remember like prime time Vine days. The song like
Absolutely.
"Good morning to you." The birds are chirping. You're right. My bird sound a little wounded, but you know, you get it.
Right. It was like Vine, I feel like Becca this week. Vine walked so TikTok could run.
Okay, and musically crawled.
Yes.
Right. You see, you get it. You get it. But like,
Elevation.
you know, I woke up this morning, I was like, the birds are chirping, the sun is bright, I'm alive, I'm breathing. I talked to my Gma today, and I was like,
I said amen. I'm Jamaican now. Amen.
yeah, people were probably like, these girls is goofy.
Girl.
But there was something I realized, and I made a post about it, and I didn't know that many people were gonna like interact with it. And I was basically like, I feel like sometimes people post on social media forgetting that people actually know them in real life. Like, you are flexing and lying for what? And it's just like, I've seen girls post about like, oh, like, I'm not the type to sit there and take a man back, this, that, and the third. Mind you, they done took they man back 7 times. Like, girl, I know you. Like, why are you lying to like the masses like this? Like, and I just think it's so crazy to me. And Shayla and I say this all the time: social media is not a real place. But I also feel like for you to lie like that, you are not real in your mind. Like, that is crazy to me.
Yeah, that was very big for me in high school, because the people that used to be up and popping on social media were the ones that would be mute all the time in real life. So I'm like, oh, this you? I never see you talking this crazy in real life in lunch. You be
Popping
in
it.
the corner, but okay.
Just in the back, popping it. Whole time in real life, you are not like that. I've seen guys talk about I spend this much on this girl, da da da. But your mom needs help with rent. So it's like, I'm not understanding. I don't get the correlation.
The math, not mathing.
Not mathing at all. And I would say the last thing I'm really going to say today is,
not today, but for the weekly rundown.
Well, for the weekly rundown. Correct. I understand the point that people make when they're like, sometimes you have to be the bigger person. But sometimes being the bigger person is all about perception. And sometimes, instead of having the perception of being the bigger person, you need to have the perception that, like, when they go low, you sit at the table with Lucifer and order dinner. Like, I think some people need to truly understand that, because I feel like you got to do it once in a while, though. I don't think you should do it all the time unless you really feel like you need to. It's very, very situational based, right? And like, there's been times where I've said things that Shayla's like, Rebecca, why would you say that to that person? Because I need them to remember this moment. When you play with me, I'm going to come back at you if I feel like it's necessary. And because you don't know when I'm going to hit you with it, watch your mouth when you talk to me. You get what I'm saying?
I think there's a balance. Sometimes there are valid crash outs. Other times I feel like, but I understand sometimes the situation does call for a crash out. Yes.
Exactly.
Not all the time.
If you keep pressing the red button and I keep letting it slide, when I'm sitting here ordering string beans with Lucifer, don't sit there and look at me dumbfounded, because you played with me. And now I'm going to show you what hell really look like.
It does get to a point. That's true.
It gets to a point. And this next topic, we about to get into our real topics now.
And girl, we're gonna, as we always do, we start off with the news. And before we started adding into the documents, we had a lot of stuff in there, but as news always goes, something is always happening, especially in America. We've covered shootings left, right, middle, center, all the time. And so another shooting happened. And this time, the shooting caused a lot of commotion around the world. So conservative activist and co-founder of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk, was shot and killed during an outdoor speaking event at Utah Valley University on Wednesday. Kirk was discussing the number of mass shooters in America, and his last words were something along the lines of, quote, "Are we counting gangs or not?" Okay. And as he was saying this, a bullet rang out and hit his neck. The graphic online footage shows the gush of blood that immediately followed. They took a man into custody, but he was later released. So police are still right now actively searching for the shooter. Kirk was 31 years old, and he left behind a wife and 2 children. Now, there was 2 sides to this, right? There were the side of people that were outraged, a shooting, like, how could this happen? And there was another side that was very much like, oh, on to the next, right? And so if you don't know who Charlie Kirk is, as I mentioned, he is an conservative, right? He is a man that was very much pro-guns. He didn't believe in DEI. He would bash Black women often, right? Not only Black women, but just minorities. He would bash them. And so now that these same people were not over here crying because of this man's death, people were shocked, right? But before I continue, I want to give you a little glimpse of the video of the shooting incident. I want to say what was the word? I want to preface it by saying that it is very graphic. Okay, so if you can't stomach that, please hit pause or skip. Right, I'm gonna show you the video first.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
So that was him counting or not counting gang violence. And this is as someone is asking him about mass shooting in America. And Kirk is known for his very far right thinking, and he would go from school to school to debate people, right? He was like a young conservative type of activist, okay? And now here's the video of all the crazy things, or for some, they don't find it crazy. They just say, I'm conservative and this is how I feel. Because a lot of the far right people are like, it's freedom of speech, right? But then others are like, okay, well, how come we don't have the freedom to feel how we feel? You only the far right reserves the right to have freedom of speech. But let us hear.
It's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
Deep down, a lot of women want to get married and have children. In fact, we should applaud it and we should support it. And we should say it means nothing if you're going to go be a CEO of some shoe company or be some banker in London. What matters if you raise children and you have something to pass down long after you're gone.
Well, KBJ, Ketanji Brown Jackson, is what your country looks like on critical race theory. KBJ is your country on CRT. KBJ, Ketanji Brown Jackson, is an embodiment of the tyranny that we currently live under. She's an ideological, unintelligent, yet confident fanatic who is so dismissive that you might even ask the question of what a woman is.
Do you disagree with the idea of a federal registry like that?
Oh, without a doubt. The only reason you'd want to register the guns is if you want to confiscate them.
Well, or to make sure that people like officers of the law are protected and know what they're going into. I mean,
That's a good argument.
Right.
To your credit. I will try to make a better argument where the problem of the government knowing where every gun is would then lead itself towards mass confiscation. And I would agree with you, a well-armed citizenry is the greatest protectorate of liberty and freedom in this country. I'm saying I err on the side that more government regulation around guns means that they'll try to take good people's guns away, which then results in less global, or let's just say national, freedom and liberty. But instead, I think you can agree that when we build a society like college admissions or job applications, we should say no quotas and just merit. You agree?
I agree.
Then you're against DEI, because DEI says quotas.
Yeah, let me finish. I agree to a certain extent. So when you mention about discriminating against whites, of course, I don't agree with that.
Well, that is DEI, just so we're clear.
Right, and I'm going to say it again.
Cool,
DEI was created to offset racism. We left it up to majority of white America to include people of color or qualifying credentials. They would not. So if my argument is that you're saying it's reverse racism, my argument is that it needed to be there to counteract racism. Sounds like we need to find a different solution for both parties.
I have a great solution. Stop talking about race all the time. Race doesn't mean anything. Because I look at you not as a black guy, but as a human being made in the image of God, and I want to know what you bring to the table. Are you good at the job? Are you better than your competitor? Because let me just pause for a second. I just want you to hear out what we believe. Is that when you talk about race all the time, you start to resegregate society based on tribes, and you lose this idea of e pluribus unum, all made in the image of God, out of many one.
So first of all, I want to start off by saying that I will never celebrate anyone's death. I will not. That's just how I feel. I'm not over here clapping like, oh, this person passed away, regardless of if I do not agree with anything that he has to say. But me personally, I'm not celebrating anyone's death. But what I will say is that you reap what you sow. You said, and by you, I mean Kirk, he said that in order to keep the Second Amendment, which he praised and cherished so hard, people have to die. A few people have to volunteer as tribute every year because I stand by the Second Amendment. And in 2025, he was one of those tributes. Whether you like it or not, if you say that you are so pro guns, and in this debate, people would say, like, you don't think we need a registry, you don't think we need stricter gun laws. You stood on the fact that no, more guns means that we are safer and that humans can protect themselves. Boom, 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 boom. And unfortunately, look what happened. You reap what you sow. Another point, right? I know some people feel a type of way that, especially like people of color, are not feeling bad. They're now over here crying and like, oh, rest in peace and this and that. I am not policing how people react to his death, because the reality is that when he was on this earth, just because someone passed away, no matter how unfortunate the death was, it doesn't eliminate all the racist and insensitive things they said while they were alive. Like, just because you passed away, it doesn't eliminate all the nastiness that you did while you were on this earth. And as we mentioned on this podcast all the time, we're very much pro keep that same energy. Yes, I do feel bad that he left behind 2 kids. I do. But again, you reap what you sow. A lot of these people that were showing up to debate you in these college tours, we're trying to get you to understand, like, listen, can we at least meet in the middle ground? Okay, you want your guns, but let's find a way to have stricter gun laws. Let's do this. And you were so hell-bent. No, I want my guns. I need my guns. And how ironic that now you lose your life to a gun. And all those people that you were, spreading fake news to, because a lot of these people be talking research up their behind. It really don't be real research. They will question you and question you and question you, but they don't want to come up with real facts. So no, I don't think that Black people should be sit here, and not just specifically Black people, just people of color should be over here crying for this man's death, because it's like, no, while he was on this earth, he was bashing me and my people. He's talking about some DEI, as we've mentioned on this podcast several times. Just because companies are a part of DEI doesn't mean that we're just hiring random people of color for jobs. No, you still need merit. You still need that education. For him to be talking about how Ketanji Brown Jackson is unintelligent. Baby, you didn't even graduate from college. Talking about some unintelligent. You don't even got your bachelor's. So it's just like, let us keep the same energy. What you reap, you sow. And if you were so pro guns, baby, you died on that hill. Go ahead.
I'm gonna just keep it short and sweet. I didn't know who this man was until he died. So to say I'm affected, to say that I'm bothered, I won't lie to you and sit here and say, yes, I am. Didn't know him when he died. Now that I know of him, now that he's dead, what did I say earlier? Good morning to you. The birds are chirping. I'm moving moving on up. Right. So I'm just going to say this real quick. 2 things can be true at the same time. To reiterate what Shayla said, I don't celebrate people's death. I really do not. But I also don't show sympathy for people who wouldn't show sympathy for me. Right. So I've already seen some of the things that he said when he was alive. Like, it's been showing up now on social media. Like I said before, I never knew who he was. And so when I've seen these things that he said, and I see some people trying to use the excuse that, we shouldn't celebrate someone's death. We definitely shouldn't. I see some people saying he had a wife and kids. So do a lot of innocent victims who get killed every single day from gun violence. And we were told that, no, there should be no gun restrictions, no nothing, because it's the Second Amendment right. Just like you have the freedom to speech, I have the freedom of empathy. And I do not have any empathy in this situation. There was an interview where he did a while ago where he said, not even interview, I think it was his show or something like that. And he was just basically saying that empathy is a weakness. So it's like, I'm respecting his wishes. Am I not? I don't get it. Yeah, it's nothing y'all gonna say gonna really do nothing for me. If you feel bad, feel bad. If you don't feel bad, don't feel bad. you can't convince people to feel something that they don't.
Yeah.
And like people talk about, he got these kids, he got a wife, he got this, he got that. So do so many people in the world. All the kids who got killed in Uvalde, they all had parents.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They're no longer here. But instead of sitting here focusing on that, we were talking about mental health. So guess what? I'm going to chalk up this man's death. The shooter had mental health issues. So then, since we're going to sit there and use that excuse that we've been commonly using, let's talk about it for 2 days and move on.
Yeah. And then the same day there was another shooting
Of
in
course.
another school. I don't know if it was specifically like a middle or middle school or university, but there was another shooting. And so I also want to talk about this selective outrage, because people pick and choose when the outrage, like the amount of outrage that I saw after Charlie Kirk's death is like you would have thought he was like, I don't even know. I don't like something godly. And it's just like you mentioned, you know how many school shootings we have had. And I feel like I didn't see half of the outrage for them and those kids. But because this is a white man that had some sort of status, right? Like, especially if you were in that circle, is the selective outrage. No,
Right.
there's so many people. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, here's just a few quotes from this man. Like Shayla showed y'all like some perfect examples of things that he said. But this man said, if I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. He said George Floyd was a scumbag. He said Martin Luther King was just a man, a very flawed one at that, a mythological anti-racist creation of the 1960s. Then he said the great replacement is not a theory, it's a reality. If I'm dealing with someone in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence or is she there because of affirmative action? So I like, yes, and I will sit here and fall into it. I'm very picky, choosy in this situation too, because I'm going to put the death of other innocent victims over this man. Again, you reap what you sow. If you sat here and you were speaking so loose-lipped and saying whatever you want and you stood strongly behind how you felt, do that. But the same way I didn't agree with you when you were alive is the same way I'm going to feel about you even when you're dead. The same way when we talked about Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I know what you did for the WWE. I know exactly what you did, but that does not negate the fact that you were a racist. And if I didn't like you then, I'm not going to like you when you hit the ground.
Yeah, and I just can't stand two-faced people. And I feel like a lot of people in the right are so two-faced, because you can't sit here. Remember how they always say, oh, it's not the guns, it's the bad people with the guns. It's like, baby, the constant variable is always the gun, always. So it's like you trying to make backflips, gymnastic around the issue. Baby, it's the guns. It's not the good people, the bad people, the this, the that. It is the guns. However way you try to flop, it's far right people getting shot. It's Democrats being shot. It's middle people being shot. It's innocent kids being shot. So it don't even matter. The constant variable is the guns. And as long as you want, for years, ages, decades, we have continued to push the can down the road, and it is still the guns. But anyways, that makes me so mad.
Shot him from 200 yards.
And I want to put an emphasis on this. This is the man, because again, the shooter is still, as of our recording, is still on the loose. And the New York Times said that the FBI released these two images of the person of interest. And from what I'm seeing, he seems to be a white man. He has what looks like an American flag. So yes, I do want to see if it is in fact that this is the person that is found to be the suspect, the shooter, what they're going to say. Because again, regardless if Kirk says that everything is not about race, we clearly see that depending on the race of shooters, the way they proceed is very differently. But we'll leave that.
And like, you know, the last time I saw like this dramatic of a reaction, I mean, obviously it was like, we saw different things, was like Luigi. I think that's the last time I saw something as like drastic and like in terms of like social response, in terms of like people like picking a side and so definitively, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, to reiterate and encompass everything, I am not saying that him dying, because there's gonna be someone who misinterprets everything we have said, which is fine. Misinterpret. That's your brain cells.
Right. I know where my heart lies. So
exactly, I know what I said, right? So again, we are not celebrating this man's death.
Mm-mm.
The same attention I paid to him when he was alive is the same attention I'm going to pay to him when he is dead. Well, now that he is dead. And I see these people using this argument about we need less violence in the world, but it's just like, y'all
They're the ones that are creating it with this hateful rhetoric and lies and conspiracy theories.
It's like y'all pick and choose though when this notion of less violence should be used. Because when Breonna Taylor was sitting in her sleep in her house and got killed, nobody said nothing. When George Floyd had a knee on his neck, it was never no less violence. When Trayvon Martin was killed, I still see George, I think his name was George Zimmerman. I think that's his name. He's still out here doing whatever. So what have you? And then people talk about oh my God, he was 31 and so young. Baby, the list of victims who have died who were young
maybe the young kids at school that didn't even get to live a life.
Exactly. So it's like we are picking and choosing when to be outraged. And this is what I am saying. You can't sit here and tell people that they need to worry about the human race when you are selective about which humans that you decide to show concern for. That does not make sense.
It's very picky and choosy, and I can't stand it. And like Rebecca said, we said what we said. And on that note, let's move on to a lighter note in our social corner. Yes. So as you know, I love my girl Cardi. Love her, hate her, that's our girl. And she's super, super funny. And one thing about her, she is going to work. Okay. She been on the grind, and I love that for her. So she is not playing about her Am I the Drama album launch. Okay, so Am I the Drama is Cardi B's upcoming second studio album. It is scheduled to be released on September 19th of this year by Atlantic Records. It serves as the follow-up to her debut album Invasion of Privacy. Cardi B has been following to me, what I've seen in all her videos is she be acting like she broke type of storyline for this album release. She's like, oh, come by she posted a video where she's like in a New York corner selling her CDs, which is a very New York thing. If you've ever gone to New York, you see people just laid out their bags and stuff like that. And, you know, she hustling for her money, for her coins, okay? She also announced that she will be doing an in-store appearance to meet fans who buy her CD in select states. The meet and greet kicks off in Long Island, New York, the day her album is expected to drop. And I feel like in 2025, that is not something that you actually see, right? Like a lot of these celebrities just go on their press tour and they don't really interact with their fans for real. And for Cardi to be doing this, meeting her fans on the day of her release, and she's going to the cities. Let me show you. First, let me show you the video of her that I mentioned where she's in the New York City streets selling her CDs. How kind of her.
$9.99. These are $15 right here, though. $20. $9.99 for the little ones. Y'all get the little ones for $9.99. What up, y'all? We outside. We got the exclusive Cardi B new album we selling right now. Look at it right here. We got the vinyls. We got the CDs. We got the core edition. $9.99. $9.99. So which your CDs, y'all? $9.99.
$9.99, period, sis. And this is she actually in a prior episode we talked about her day in court and all her facial expressions, how they've turned into memes. And baby, she's capitalizing on that. She had made CDs for her Am I the Drama tour, her Am I the Drama album, where the CD cover is her in court. This is it. So that's in the bottom left. She calls it the courtroom edition CDs. She's also dropping a box set, baby. The BBL is BBLing. You see that in the middle. And then to the right is where you see her Am I the Drama in-store appearance. She's going to be in Long Island, New York, Houston, Texas, in Pennsylvania, Eastern PA, Atlanta, and Long Beach, California. So my girl is getting to the bag. And I feel like this is such an awaited album because she hasn't dropped since Invasion of Privacy, and people have been on her like, we need new music. We need new music. You've been living off a single, yada, yada, yada. So I think she does feel a lot of pressure for this album to do good. And I think she's doing everything that she can to ensure that her album hits top charts for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
what you have against Cardi?
I don't have
that idea is very like,
I mean, I don't have nothing against her. I've said this in the past. Like, she cool. Like, she's not somebody I'm checking for. She is very comical, very funny. I like that she did that album Lil be all right, 999. That's real cute, real cute. I'll listen to it when it comes out, but like to say that I'm like, oh my god, this is long awaited. No, that ain't it. But I'm happy for her. I like the hustle. I see a lot of people speculating that she is pregnant. If she is, congratulations, sis. You are fertile enough. What? You fertile like mushrooms, baby. I ain't never seen nothing like that. But if she's not, girl, she said in a recent interview, she's like, yeah, I want more kids. The more you have, the less chance they put you in a home. Yo,
yeah, that's such a Caribbean mindset of thinking. You know how we talked on this podcast that like our parents is very much understood that we are, you know, like they raised us and then we raised them, which is like very obvious. But I feel like in American culture, I know people that like their parents still pay their bills until they're like grown people. And in Caribbean culture, baby, that's not happening. You need to help your parents immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Cardi. I am so excited for amithedrama. I've been hearing little snippets of a Bodega little song. I hope that Bodega song is in the album. If you know, you know.
Yeah. Bodega Baddie, I think it is.
Yes, Bodega Baddie. I was raised on Bodega, so I love that.
Right. So the next thing we're going to talk about. So this has been popping up on my TikTok. And when I just say, like, my people are down 7,000. Okay. So there has been a debacle happening about a certain wedding dress attire that a guest wore, right? So a pregnant woman on TikTok sparked controversy after posting a video of herself and her partner dressed for a wedding they attended as guests, right? She wore a purple like dress that had a deep plunge in it, you know, showed off a little bit of the pregnant belly, and you know, her cleavage was showing to the point where like someone could consider it excessive, right? So after facing backlash for wearing something that people claim is too revealing for the occasion, she later shared a follow-up video explaining that she had checked with the bride beforehand who approved the outfit. So I'm going to show you guys the outfit that she wore, and she was basically doing like, guys, rate this outfit, okay?
Wedding OOTD. What rating do you guys give us? Who's eating who up? Hold on, show them, babe. Who's eating who up? I think I'm eating you up.
Where'd you get this dress from?
Naked wardrobe. What are you?
Blazer's Milk. Shirt is Walmart. Pants are Walmart. Shoes are Kohl's. Tie is Walmart. Belt is Walmart. Socks are Walmart. Save money, live better.
Amen. Bye, y'all.
Right. So that's the dress that she wore to a wedding. Now, before we give our opinions on it, I'm going to share her response video, okay?
So the internet is currently trying to drag me because I wore this dress to my friend's wedding. Let's talk about it. First and foremost, I just want to say I'm not going to even go off on people in the comments about whether the dress was appropriate to a wedding or not, because what might be appropriate for you may not be appropriate for me, and vice versa. But personally, I have seen women wear the exact same dress that I was wearing to weddings. Whether it be backless, whether a lot of cleavage was showing, whether a lot of their stomach was showing, nobody has a problem with it. So that leads me to this conclusion for some of y'all in the comments. Y'all don't have an issue with the dress. Y'all have an issue with me wearing the dress. Y'all are uncomfortable with women being comfortable in their skin. You look at me and say, she doesn't deserve to feel good in what she's wearing. She's not skinny enough. Because let's be real, y'all have seen a variation of that dress on skinny women all of the time. All of the time. Y'all don't say nothing. Y'all cheer. Go, girl, you look good, girl, yes. But somebody who's built like me, feeling good, looking good, y'all got a problem with it. And the gag is, y'all built just like me. So let's talk about it. Don't project your stuff onto me. The bride thought I looked amazing because I looked amazing. Y'all can sit up here and go back and forth on whether or not it was appropriate for a wedding. I mean, sure, go ahead. But to say that I didn't look good, give me your phone.
Am I being
y'all built just like me took me out.
Am I being gaslit? Like, Okay, so Shayla.
No, I want you. Go. What's your reaction?
When I saw this, I didn't think they were going to a wedding. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then I found out that she's Haitian, so that just brought us down like 17,000. Like I was like, bonzier. Especially like if you know Shayla, you know from Caribbean culture, there is just an understanding of like not even cover yourself, but like dress appropriately. Like I don't know how else to explain it. It's like what's understood is understood, what's not understood is not understood, right? So when I saw this dress, I'm like, okay, you wanted to show off your pregnant belly, I guess, but I just don't feel like that dress was meant for a wedding. And if the bride, like again, she said the bride said it was okay, fine and dandy. If the bride said that was okay, who am I to sit there and argue? I could just sit there and say, if I was the bride, you would not be in my wedding. I'm so sorry. I don't care if you are a guest, you will not be at my wedding. And I'm not even going off the philosophy. Like I know people like to say, oh, like you're not supposed to like outdress the bride or something like that, whatever it is. If it's my wedding, you could never outdress me because I am the bride. Like you could like literally you are there for my day. All eyes are on me anyway. So you could never outdo me because it's my day. So I'm not even thinking of that as like the philosophy. I just don't see that as being an appropriate wedding dress. It looks to me like you and your man are going to two different locations to me. Like you going on a beach picnic and your man is going to, I don't know, chaperone a homecoming. Like that's what it gave to me.
Yeah, when I saw that, it was not giving wedding, but I will agree with her in the point that when skinnier people wear that, they won't get as much hate. People will be like, wait, people will be like, oh my God, girl, you look so good. But aside from that, you already know how I am. I dress covered up just on a natural basis. So if I see Becca, because Becca is all about cleavage and showing and all that,
I'm covered up today.
She will already know. First of all, I'm gonna have a dress code, so you will already. If I'm the bride, you will already know, baby. No, you're not wearing that. It's not happening. But it was not giving wedding dress to me. I will give her the point that yes, if a skinnier person was wearing it, social media most likely wouldn't have reacted as crazy as they maybe did. I didn't watch the video until now. And the last point I will make is that if the main person was okay with it, then so be it. But as of me, myself, and I, absolutely not. My mom would not let me walk out. You're not going to a wedding like that. But again, like it's you do what works best for you.
And the fact that her being Haitian, that's the part that's really like tearing my head up, because it's just like I could just imagine my family and her walking into the wedding, and like I could just hear
immediately judgment.
Girl, and it would be so vocal.
Yeah.
And like
that would be worse than church, because you know people in church be judging. They be like, "Oh, we accept you as you are," but baby, the as you are is there's a threshold to the as you are. You need to come. You know, there's limits. You cannot show up with this dress to church.
Like I'm telling, like it's cut down. Like, and it's like I understand you want to make it about your belly, you being pregnant, whatever. Like it be a moment for you. It is not your moment, right? And
but
like,
do we know she was just a guest, right? She wasn't a part of the.
She was just a guest. She was just a guest. Like,
okay.
And like, apparently there's now, I don't know if this part is true, but people saying that apparently it was her high school sweetheart's wedding that she pulled up to. Girl,
to each their own, I guess.
But listen, I'm not gonna get too much into that. But if that is true, baby, now we know why you wore that.
Oh, because you want but she got her little. Anyways, yeah, let's not get down that loophole.
All I'm saying is like Haitians classify people like that as very sumun. Like you just want to be on people, around people, and be the main focus. And it's just like I feel like also I think Kendall Jenner wore a dress similar to that or like that, and she had got dragged when she wore that, and the girl is the size of a number 2 pencil. So like I get her point. Like if somebody else wore that, I just don't think a dress like that is meant for that type of occasion. Again, it's not my wedding. So who am I?
Right. Comment down below if it was your wedding. Would you be okay if a guest pulled up in this dress? Next, okay, let's talk about Mafiothan 3. If you don't know about Twitch, we mentioned Twitch. Twitch is a live streaming app, and Kaicenat is going through his little Mafiothan 3 where he has been live all of September. And baby, he has brought in the big names. Okay, he has had Kim Kardashian on, Mariah Carey, Ice Spice, Lotto, Lizzo, Kehlani, Marlon Wayans, the comedian, Neo, Draymond Green, the Jonas Brothers, Keke Palmer, baby, the list goes on. But at the start of the Mafiothan 3, he brought up Kim K, and in it, she mentioned something that I thought was pretty interesting, in which she said that she felt like homework shouldn't be a thing. Let's listen to the video.
Homework, man. You have to.
I don't believe in homework.
Talk that shit.
Yeah,
That's what I knew it. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, what is homework? What's homework?
No, but I'm going to tell you why. Because, like,
you gotta go home
kids are in school for 8 hours a day. When they come home, like, they need to also then do sports, have a life, spend time with their family. I think the homework should be left for, like, in school. Like, you shouldn't have to,
You'll
like,
be a good teacher.
You'll
be a good teacher.
Yeah.
No, but his actual school, you know, it starts September. So the only way that he's gonna get it, he got to do ultimate homework every single time at home. You know, everybody gonna be watching him while he's here.
Yeah.
You feel me? So he'll be doing the online stuff. Well, I do online.
Well, you have to do, online. You have to do it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So you don't think?
Besides that.
So you don't think at all he should be doing homework? Or actually,
No,
as hard?
I think he should be doing the work. Definitely do the work, but just not homework. Obviously, you're homeschooled, so it's a different story. But if you go into school or you stay online and you're doing your school 8 hours a day, the last thing you want to do is then get off of your school program and then do a book report.
Thoughts? Or do you want me to go first?
I just I see it from two perspectives. I see it from as someone, who went through their years of schooling, I understand the topic of not have you already come from 8 hours and you already do all these extracurricular activities. I remember having to do basketball, cheerleading, and then when I get home, it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm over here doing my English assignments, my math assignments and stuff like that. I get that, but also seeing how slow children are nowadays, I don't think homework is enough.
And that's the thing. There was literally some sort of report that came out this week that said the national report card, baby, the kids are not doing okay. A lot of people don't even know how to read. And so I feel regardless of if you want to be a representation or you don't realize the amount of power you have, I think the reality is that as someone that is a public figure, whether you like Kim K or not, people like what she does and they look up to her, whatever. And it's just just read the room. People are struggling when it comes to education. We're in a slowdemic, as Becca has said several times. So I just think that's not something that you should be pushing, especially if Kai is sitting on this couch talking about oh no, Rokai needs to do his homework and da-da-da. Even if you don't believe in that, just be yes, Rokai should be doing his homework, because the reality is that most people don't have the amount of wealth and money that Kim has to be able to have tutors come to the house and make sure that your kids pass and get all the help that they need. No, I feel education, it played a very big, role into me being able to quote unquote get out and make it, right? For a lot of immigrants, education is our key to freedom. So for you to sit there and be oh no, homework should just be done at, or there shouldn't be homework, you should just do that at school, it's just very insensitive, and you're not reading the room. America is struggling very bad right now with education. And yes, I do agree that it is annoying. Baby, I will come home and the last thing I want to do is homework. But the reality is that we need to emphasize education. Whether you like it or not, you need to read the books. You need to do this, because the more you do it, the better you get at it. Point blank, period. We all can be influencers. We need doctors. We need nurses. We need people that are actually pro education. I get it, the two sides, but to sit there on such a big platform, and a lot of the people that are actually sitting watching Kai are very young people. So for you to sit there and spew that narrative whether you mean well by it. These are kids. And now they're going to be like, well, I don't want to do homework. Baby, if I'm the mom, I don't care what Kim K said, Buki, you will be doing your homework.
I get what you're saying. I definitely do that. And like I said, like I see two ways. Like I get the point that she's making, but I also see how slow children are nowadays. And like that's why I'm saying, like, and I don't think homework is enough, is what I'm trying to get at. I don't think it's the retention is the problem. Like kids are not retaining anything. Like everybody, if you put a 2-second TikTok on, they're going to remember that longer than they did the 45-minute class that they were just in. I think retention is the problem. Like, yes, you can be in sports. Yes, you can do this. Yes, you can do all these extracurricular activities outside of your regular, school days. But the problem is, like, I think there needs to be more work inside the school system is what I'm trying to get at. I think I'm trying to get to the bigger point, because I remember, like, listen, I know we didn't even have, like, we had social media, but it wasn't as much as a focal point as it is today. And I used to come home and like be confused after sitting there, like trying my hardest to pay attention in class. And it's just like, I couldn't go to my parents because, like we mentioned, we have immigrant parents. If we don't know, then nobody else knows, right? So it's just like, I remember coming home and being confused and not knowing what to do, and like stressing myself, straining my brain, trying to understand these stuff. Or like, instead of, I would have to miss half of practice to make sure I go sat with my math teacher to ask all these different questions, because I wasn't able to, like, something was not clicking for me. So like, I just think more work needs to be done. And it's just like, then we get into the conversation of actually providing resources in these schools, because you also have to remember, Kim K, you are a billionaire, trillionaire, whatever you are. Your kids, literally, you are their fallback. Like, honestly, like, if we're gonna be for real, Kim K can say that she doesn't care, like she doesn't want her kids to do homework inside, like outside at home. But at the end of the day, they are rich.
And it don't even matter if they graduate or not, baby. They still gonna be good. They got access, resources to everything. And I do want to make space, or like, I do want to mention the fact that I know education and schooling is not for everyone. I completely understand that. There are people that are way better off with, like, not going to school. But I just think that's something that you and your family need to figure out by themselves, because the reality is that teachers don't get paid enough. They don't have enough resources and I think for a lot of like years, people just depend on teachers to be the source of everything. And it's like, they don't get paid enough for that. At the end of the day, you still got to be a parent and help your kids out. Like, just because they're reading at school, you need to come home and also be like, that's a part of being a parent.
And that's kind of the point that I was getting to. Like, Kim as the parent, Kanye as the parent, your kids have you as your fallback, right? Whatever financial, monetary value that you could add to their life, you already got that checked off. There are kids who are struggling on a day-to-day, both financially, emotionally, mentally, physically. And then you got their parents also didn't take, education seriously. And so their parents slow too. So it's just like, it's already in the DNA.
Like, girl, I can't go to my parents because they already part of the slow. And now you telling me also to continue the path? No, we got to break the cycle. We got to break it.
Girl,
I think social media, like you said, we grew up in like a healthy middle ground, that as we were growing, social media was too. But a lot of people are just stuck on their phones. They're not actually paying attention. And that's why there's a whole other issue now where some school districts are trying to remove phones, because the kids are not paying attention because they're stuck on Twitch, Instagram, on all the social media platforms instead of paying attention.
Absolutely.
All right. So on to the next topic. Comment down below. Are you pro homework? Like, in reality, no one likes homework, but you know what I mean? Like, for real.
It gotta get done. Right. It gotta get done. So the next thing we're going to talk about is, if you guys know, Shayla and I both work in the media space. And, as journalists, sometimes you got to clock other journalists. Okay. So 2 recent press tour incidents are sparking debate about journalists crossing the line with awkward or poorly phrased questions. So the first incident involves Chris Evans. So while promoting his new film Sacrifice with, I'm gonna make sure I say your name correctly, girl. I practice it. Anya Taylor-Joy. I hope I said it correctly, girl. So at the Toronto Film Festival, a reporter asked Chris Evans if playing a failed actor felt a little bit closer to home. The question stunned the audience, drew laughter, and left Taylor Joy visibly awkward. And Chris Evans handled it calmly, but the clip went viral, with many criticizing the reporter for an unnecessary jab. So I'm gonna play the clip for you guys really quickly, okay?
Concerns with playing a part that was potentially a bit closer to home, or if you felt like it was going to take. I don't imagine you in a bathroom on your phone trying to go viral. I'm so sorry. Or there are any concerns about it shaking the fictional world of the film?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, listen. Obviously, at face value, there's a little bit of an overlap, but and that can be part of the reason why you might want to play the role. But when I read the script.
Yeah. Now, let me give you the second incident before we sit here and get into it all. So then the second incident involved Ayo Adebri, Julia Roberts, and Andrew Garfield. So after the hunt, the movie's called After the Hunt interview, an Italian journalist named Federica asked Roberts and Garfield about Hollywood now that the Me Too and Black Lives Matter are done, explicitly excluding Ayo from answering. And Ayo jumped in, basically saying that the movements are far from over, stressing that activism continues beyond mainstream coverage. And then Roberts and Garfield backed her up. And after the backlash, Federica defended herself on Instagram, rejecting accusations of racism and arguing that she was misunderstood, while she also was condemning the personal attacks she's received. So let me play that clip as well.
What we lost during the politically correct era, and what we have to expect in Hollywood after the Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matters are done. The two of you, Andrew and Julia.
Well, okay. Can you repeat that? And I with your sunglasses on, I can't tell which of us you're talking to. So
the question was for Julia and Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the Me Too era and the Black Lives Matters are done, what we have to expect in Hollywood, and what we lost, if we lost something with the politically correct era.
Well, it's not done.
Sorry, I know that that's not for me, and I don't know if it's purposeful if it's not me, but I just am curious. I don't think it's done. I agree
it's
with
not
you.
done.
I don't think it's done at all. I think maybe hashtags might not be used as much, but I do think that there's work being done by activists, by people every day. That's beautiful, important work. That's not finished. That's really, really, really active for a reason, because this world is really charged.
Yeah.
And that work isn't finished at all. Maybe if there's not mainstream coverage in the way that there might have been
daily headlines
in the way that it might have been 8 or so years ago, but I don't think that it means that the work is done.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say.
And that the movements have been halted anyway.
Yes.
Like the movements are still absolutely alive,
Yes.
as you say, just maybe not as
labeled
or
covered.
Yeah, or like witnessed as or kind of magnified as much in this present moment.
So
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So Frederica, like I mentioned earlier, she put a statement on Instagram or anything like that. But there was this one TikTok comment, like someone made a video because people have been like reacting to this, right? So she had commented under this one girl who had made a video, and she said, "I would like to apologize if my question was unclear and formulated with wrong words, as I am an Italian mother tongue." Oh, thanks, Shayla. Period. As I am an Italian mother tongue, which I intended to say was the following: compared to the peak of movements such as Me Too or Black Lives Matter, there now seems to be more cautious. Now seems to be more callous or cautious. Is she
cautious and thoughtful approach,
girl, in assessing individual responsibility rather than rushing into social media trials or collective prejudice. My intention was never to offend, but to rather emphasize the importance of elevating each case on its own merits with fairness and respect.
So for me,
go ahead, girl.
For me, the first thing that I think, again, as journalists, is like, you have someone, I know a lot, especially like when we are of a community, we don't want to speak for the community, but I've taken several classes where it's like, you can't speak on a community or a problem that you're not a part of. So if you're going to ask about the Black Lives Matter movement and there's a Black person standing right in front of you, and meanwhile, as the journalist, you're approaching the question and being for the two of you, and it's the white people in the room, when you are asking a question that directly impacts the Black person that is in front of you, it's just like, are you really trying to get to the core answer? It seems that you're not, because why would you ask the white people about the Black people issue? And I know, like, in for the Me Too movement is not specifically related to that, but for you to single out, oh, for you too. And I appreciate Andrew, the male actor that was there, because he immediately, as soon as the question, he turned around, because it's like common sense. Like, I don't care from what country you're from. It is very obvious that if you're asking a question about a significant or a certain type of person, you should direct the question to that person.
But it's like, also, you talk about the Me Too movement and you going to include Andrew in it. And I get it. The Me Too movement is like a grander scale, a grander conversation, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I directed to the two women. No? And so for me, as Shayla will tell you, as people who have sat down with celebrities and asked questions and stuff like that, I think some journalists, I get it. You know, it's like a very thin line between going viral and going unnoticed. There's a very thin line between the two. But when you're interviewing celebrities, yes, you can have those fun, quirky, you know, important type of questions, but you also have to make it somewhat relevant and also be cautious to who you are speaking to. Because it's very easy for me to sit there and ask the question to Shayla right now, and it's just me and Shayla. But that's like me asking Shayla, so how do you feel about, you know, women who just want to sit, like white women who always just bleach blonde dye their hair? And Shayla can't relate.
Girl, that got nothing to do with me.
That literally does not correlate. That does not correlate to anything that has to do with,
especially if I was sitting right next to a white person. Like, girl, why are you asking me? Ask her. She the one dyeing the hair.
Is that I don't understand what's not clicking. And then even to the Chris Evans clip, it's just like, Chris Evans is far from a failed actor. So it's just like, you Captain America?
And I think that also shows that, like, some people devalue journalism, which we've talked about several times. They're like, oh yeah, just bring in an influencer. Like, they'll ask the questions. I think some people get it twisted. Journalism is not for everybody, because there are real, true journalists out there that take their job very seriously. And it's not just about asking questions. It's about coming in with research and reading the room. Like, certain questions are just not meant to ask. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't ask the hard questions. Yes, I'm all for asking the hard questions, but there's a time and a place for everything. And how you word things matter. This man is in a public space with all these people, and you out here basically dragging him, and you think he gonna invite you to the next screening? Oh, baby, I'm never answering your question again. And I feel like he shouldn't have to.
Exactly. And like, I think for me, to your point, when you, like, as a journalist, you try and focus on what you want, I guess, your journalistic stamp to be. Like, for me, when I interview people, the main thing that I want is I want them to feel comfortable to answer the questions with me. I want them to feel like they are talking to a friend, to be not even as a friend, an acquaintance, and you're comfortable with me, so you don't feel like I'm trying to get something at you, because I classify those two cases as gotcha journalism. Like, you are trying to rage bait or get a reaction, because back to what I mentioned earlier, that thin line between viral and unnoticed. You trying to break through that line. And like, you broke through it, but not for the right reasons, because now instead of people talking about the person that you're interviewing, they're talking about you as the interviewer. So it's just like, to me, I just think, be very cautious when you do take that title of a journalist, and remember, what do you want your like, I guess, your mark or name to represent? Because no celebrity I have ever interviewed could sit there and say that I have tried to play gotcha journalism with them. And like, I've gotten those clips, like I've gotten those like little viral clips where people are like, oh my God, I can't believe this person said it, or like said this or said that. And they focus mainly on the subject that I am interviewing, not based off my question. My question was just I set the ground for it, and you took the walk with it. Like, that is what it is for me. And that's why I said sometimes we gotta clock these journalists, because I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you saying?
Yeah. And I just want to again emphasize that we're not saying that you shouldn't ask the hard questions, because I think that is the job of journalists, to get things answered that, just a regular person on the street wouldn't be able to get answered. So I'm all for hard questions, but the way you phrase it, where you're doing it, read the room, all of those things matter. Now let's end our social corner with something that's a little bit more loosey-goosey, but if you are an Apple iPhone user, then you probably know what happened this week. Dun, 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 dun. So this week, Apple unveiled the new iPhone. Apple's new iPhone 17 lineup, in my opinion, comes with changes that no one really asked for. Like, they continue to just do nothing. Okay, the updates include a smoother screen, a sharper selfie camera that flips views on its own, and better rear cameras with extra zoom on the Pro models. They also introduced a super thin iPhone Air, while the Pro Max promises longer battery life. And now storage will start at 256 gigabytes. Let's watch a little video, child. Just useless tools.
Thanks. This year, there are 4 exciting new iPhones to choose from, including a brand new addition joining the lineup. There's the new iPhone 17, the groundbreaking iPhone Air, a completely new member to the iPhone family, and finally, iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max.
See, now Shayla and I have very different reactions for this. Like, baby, that zoom, you could see the moon, girl. Bink, okay, bink, girl.
You are part of the problem. That's why Apple, the next thing you know, for the iPhone 18, they're gonna just sell half the phone. Cause no, girl, they need to be focused.
I'm not saying I'm gonna get it. I'm happy with my iPhone 16 Pro Max. Okay, I am happy with my iPhone 16, but I'm just saying that zoom about to put you on the moon, baby. Especially, girl, you could sit me all the way in the back of the concert. I'm at the front. Like,
okay, but it's like compared to their competitors, like people got like 2-screen phones, they got pens, they have all of these other stuff that are happening in terms of Android, Google, all these other competitors. And I just feel like Apple has so much money that they've stolen from us because of how expensive their phones are, that they should do better. I remember when iPhones first popped off, baby, we used to even get headphones included in the box. Now they give you a wire and they said, Buki, you need to buy your own little box for the charger. So it's like, okay, great, Zoom, but it's like, that's all you've been working on a better Zoom? Nobody asked for that.
But the thing is, they had other things that they announced, and I'm surprised you're not into this one. Even for their watch series. So they have the Apple Watch Series 11, which is going to have advanced health tracking with sleep score, high blood pressure alerts, new workout buddy with a 24-hour battery. They also got the Apple Watch SE3, which is an affordable option with the sleep tracking, faster charging, richer health insights, and always on display. I'm surprised you're not into that.
I'm not. I just feel like Apple needs to step their cookies up. They need to step their cookies up, because I feel like all the other competitors are coming out with actually advanced things, and they spent 30 years to just update a camera. Like, every year, the main thing is always the camera. Do something else, please. Every update can't just be on the camera.
I mean, as someone who loves to take pictures, I
like pictures too, but it's like, you are getting left behind. And I am once I like something, I don't really like to change, right? And I feel like I can't be an Android girl or a Google girl, because I already got my computer is Apple, my phone is Apple, my Apple Watch is Apple, my AirPods are Apple. So it's just like, I want to stay Apple, but they're just making it very hard because it's just very basic.
This is the only thing that I think that they had that like really sold me, is the AirPods Pro 3, which is going to be like best in-ear noise cancellation, improved sound, heart rate sensing, live translations.
I will give them that. That's cute.
No, and 8 hours of listening. So like when I saw that, I said, oh, but and I think it drops on December 19th. So if you ever want to know what I want for Christmas, Deanna, Amani, Shayla, think about it.
Don't include me in that. I'm unemployed.
In case you wanted to know what to get your girl, because the moment that drops, I'm so sorry. Feel as you want, feel as you may. Rebecca will be buying those new AirPods, because what do you mean live translations? Baby, I'm pulling up into the nail salon today.
Well, that I feel feel like everyone keeps using that, but I feel like that gives a little bit like race, like you are not you specifically, but I could picture people already like, I don't know. I mean, that's cute, but not everybody's plotting against you at the nail salon. Like,
now, I want to be nosy. I want to know what's the conversation. How when you start scrubbing the bottom of my feet, that's when you got something to say. I mean, to me, it just give weird. Okay, and then also, I'm just saying, don't let me get a hold of my resume, because the way I will add that I can speak Bangladesh on there with this AirPod in my phone, I swear to goodness. Duolingo, me and Duolingo have been having a very contentious relationship for the last 6 months. And the way the AirPod's about to sit there and get your girl right in less than one purchase, baby, y'all got me. Y'all got me.
I guess I the one thing I'll give them is the AirPods. I guess the AirPods did get a little bit better. Let's get into our sports corner. You got 24 seconds and it's starting right now.
Yes, y'all. So our sports corner, this is like, it's a person in the sports space, but it's not really a sports story. So we wanted to share our respects and condolences to Naz Reid and his family after the death of his sister. Now, I just want to give a quick backstory. So for the company that I work for recently, Shayla came with me because we went to go cover a basketball camp for Naz Reid that he had in his home state. What happened, Shayla?
I have a video there if you'd like to play it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Where is it? Oh, got it.
Long way.
The camp is open to standout players in grades 8 through 11, and while drills and tournaments sharpen their game, it's the off-court sessions on leadership and personal development that make it unique. Yeah, so it was a cute event and everything like that. But unfortunately, literally a week later, mind you, when Shayla and I were there, we were meeting all his family, talking to his grandma, talking to cousins, sisters, siblings, everything, right? And when I saw the news, like I saw that someone had died in Jackson Township, and I was like, okay, cool, calm, collected. But like, it didn't click to me that like this was someone that we literally just met a week and a half ago, right? So here's some details. So Minnesota Timberwolves star Naz Reid is facing a devastating loss. His sister, 28 years old, Toraya, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Toraya Reid, was shot and killed outside her apartment complex in Jackson Township, New Jersey. Police say the suspect was 29-year-old Shaquille Green, who they confirmed was in a relationship with her. He was taken into custody and charged with murder and weapons offenses. And we want to just send our deepest condolences to the family, because it's just like, that is just such a tragic loss. And I remember when we were there, they were saying like how close the family is. So I can just imagine like how heartbreaking that is, you know?
Yeah. And like we mentioned, he plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So like during the season, he's not in Jersey. He's all the way in Minnesota. And so during the summer, he was hosting this basketball camp, which when I was there, it was so, you know, as Caribbeans, we're very pro-family. So it was super like heartwarming to see. Like, I remember I told Becca, like, oh, they told me like all his sisters are here. And it was just such a, like, I love that, right? Like showing up for your people and like supporting. And so to see a week later, like when I saw the news, I sent it to Rebecca and I was like, oh my God, did you see this? Because we literally just saw her. And like, it also goes to show that like, just because you're out living life, happy-go-lucky, you never really know what's happening with people's life, right? Like the fact, obviously we don't know the details, but you know, like she might've been there showing love for her brother and supporting, but like in the back of her mind, she could have been thinking like problems that she has at home with her partner, just in life in general. And it's just like, life is so fragile, like outside of an apartment complex at broad daylight at that, gone. Like, it's just so sad. 28 years old, that's my age. That's like, I pass away today. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so sad. And like, as we always talk about all these things that sometimes like don't really matter, because all of it can be taken away in a snap. And so we really do just send our prayers to the family, because from what I saw, I could tell that they're very close-knit family. And I can only imagine the pain that they're in. And the fact that, you know, like Naz, when the season starts or when training camp starts, he has to go all the way to Minnesota. And, you know, like friends are friends, but when you're going through this, like, his mom is now without a daughter, and it's just so upsetting. Again, another incident of gun violence every day happening in America, and the constant variable is always the gun.
Okay. And that's all from us tonight. I said tonight.
Today.
Today.
Girl, you said that. That's all for us today. If you made it this far, thank you guys so much for supporting. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. For me, comment a water. I don't know if there's a water bottle emoji, but pray for me in the microplastics. Some sort of water emoji for me. What do you want the people to comment for you?
Comment the fire emoji for me, because like I said, sometimes you just gotta sit down at the table with Lucifer and order dinner. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm pro God. I want to be sitting in the table with Jesus. Okay. On that note,
the devil was once an angel.
We love God. All right, guys. See you next Friday. Bye.